Hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to be giving my opinion on beta male dusties like Tory Lanez. So many of them. Always talking and shit. And they love to go into the hub of central dustiness on podcasts like Joe Budden and T.I. I just can't believe Tiny hasn't poisoned him yet. Girl, like, I'm West Indian. I will teach you how to punish your man.
When it comes to women, it's like, I have this line with women when they're like, yo, can you buy me this? Shorty, I thought you was up. You can't buy yourself that? If you can't buy yourself that, you can't fuck with a nigga in my tax bracket.
Oh, man. Where are these women?
Period. If you can't buy yourself a Gucci bag, you can't fuck with me in my tax bracket if that's what we're talking about.
Oh, I'm scared
But
to
luckily,
ask them
I'm a
what they
down
do
to
for a
earth.
living.
But that's the thing, I'm a down-to-earth nigga. If you come on some, I don't give a fuck about a Gucci bag, I'm not gonna ask you for that shit, I'm not gonna try you like that. But if you have the nerve to try me like I'm a trick and say, yo, give me this bag, I'm gonna ask you, shorty, do you not have enough money to buy that bag? And if you don't fuck with me.
You talking about bags, I'm more so meant like a little
I'm just saying.
American Apparel. For
when it comes to women.
A few weeks ago, you went viral when you had said that you didn't think women should ask for gifts that they can't afford. And we even talked about it here on Girl Chat, too. So what was the feedback like that you got, and what did you mean by it? Because we were even trying to decode what you meant by it.
Well, first of all, it wasn't, that you shouldn't buy girls gifts or whatever that they can't afford.
Okay.
Really, what I was touching on is, I'm a person who, I come with a vibe. When I meet somebody, if we're vibing out, we know each other, it's gotten to that certain point where, like, we have that kind of rapport with each other.
Okay.
It's no problem for me to shower you and things if you my girl or you somebody I look at like that.
Okay.
But at the same time, right, let's say, because we're all young here, things happen. If you at the club and you and this lady have a night of passion, all of a sudden, it shouldn't just be right for me to ask her for anything either, or for her to ask me for. It's like, for instance,
right.
I'm sure everybody here, I'm sure you guys are very independent, accomplished women. So, let's say you meet this dude at the club and he looks like the guy that you want him to look like. Y'all have a night of passion, and I'm not saying y'all get down like that.
Yeah, I got you all the vibes.
Let's say y'all have a night of passion, whatever the case is, and it goes the way that you want it to go. Is it all right the next morning for that guy, knowing your status, and he doesn't have your status, but for him to look at you and be like, well, now that I laid it down, can I get a car? Or what?
People say that? Wait.
I'm a fan of independent women. I'm a fan of,
Yeah.
all right, don't buy it, I'll buy it myself. Not saying that, like, I wouldn't buy it.
Yes.
But I love a woman that can do for herself. But it's like, if you know you're not going to do this for yourself, or you're not even in the financial situation to do this for yourself, and we don't know each other.
Hi guys, hi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for sticking around and subscribing. I am trying to do better with content. And so I just wanted to come and briefly talk about this whole thing with Tory Lanez, talking about how he doesn't want to pay for women and doesn't want to buy them things if they don't have the money to do it themselves, and a lot of like code words for stuff that is usually means that he's probably not much fun to date or be with outside of a sexual kind of relationship. So he went on, I think it was Joe Budden's podcast, I believe. Originally, he made some comments and then he went on the reel and kind of switched up the tone of what he was talking about. And he was talking to Jeannie Mai and the other women on the reel about how, I don't know, I guess he prefers independent women that can buy things for themselves. If they are, if we're caught up in a night of passion, let it just be that, and don't expect me to buy you things, don't ask me to buy you something, and just all this other stuff. And so I am just really, I'll start here. I'm always very much turned off when men say stuff like this. Like, even when I was single, I was always very much just like very turned off by this type of stuff, because to me what that says is that, number one, oftentimes these kinds of men have this like very sexist, archaic, old-fashioned mindset of gender roles, in terms of the woman is supposed to cook, clean, and raise, do most of the raising of the kids, and just fulfill a lot of these very traditional roles. And oftentimes these type of men will want their woman to fulfill these roles. Meanwhile, when you come to the flip side of the traditional roles for men and women, which is men being the provider, they have a problem with that. They have a problem with them having to pay all the bills and be the breadwinner. And so that's really, to me, what I think is absolutely just completely intellectually disingenuous about this whole type of topic around men providing in exchange for access to a woman or sex with a woman. Tory Lanez is probably out here dipping it low and spurting it wide, as Wendy Williams says. He is probably out here dating casually, sleeping in different women's beds, enjoying his status as a semi-wealthy, famous performer, right? And so I'm sure that he's not expecting much from these women in terms of commitment, and he's hoping they don't expect much from him in terms of commitment. And so it's like, why do men oftentimes think that sex or access to a woman should be free? Outside of relationships, of course. I am specifically talking about outside of relationships, and I believe he was too. If you do not have a relationship with a woman, right, you guys aren't both giving of yourselves emotionally, like with emotional labor and physical, if you're not, financially giving of yourself, then pretty much the exchange that is understood is, I'm going to be having sex with you, but I may have some financial requests that I need you to handle. And that should not be seen as a negative thing. And I really don't understand why a lot of men miss that whole kind of thing. Number one, sex is not like a basic human right. No one owes you a date. No one owes you sex. You don't have any kind of just general access to women. If any woman decides to sleep with you, if she decides to do whatever she wants to do with you, then whatever price that she sets, that should be the price that you are willing to pay if you want access to her. This idea that women should just be kind of benevolent and self-sacrificial and just giving of their bodies freely, and they should just want to just have sex, as a way to reward you for being nice and respectful, that's absolute nonsense. And I don't understand why men in one respect treat women as if we're objects, and that we are, sort of these things that you can kind of pick up and put down whenever you feel like dealing with us in one aspect, and then in the other aspect, when we start commodifying sexual exchanges, it's automatically a negative thing. It's automatically disgusting. You're a whore, you're a gold digger, you're all these things. And it's like, wait a minute, like, weren't you just expecting me to just freely give of myself physically? And what a lot of men don't seem to really understand is that our beauty, our bodies, our sexuality are the currency that we give a lot of times. Not always, but in a lot of times, that is a major part of what we give in relationships, what we are offering to someone that we like or love in a relationship is sex. And so why can't you pay? Why can't you pay a bill? And this is my thing. You have a lot of guys who even struggle to take a woman on a date, okay? That seems to be like so impossible, like a real actual date, right? And then it's like, if you're a woman and you don't want like a real date, and you don't want a date, you want $500, $1,000, $1,500 to pay a bill, that's negative. That's a problem. I don't really understand that. So I just think a lot of times when guys say things like that, they're oftentimes beta males, and they really don't understand, they're not mature enough to understand the currency, the relationship currency, and how oftentimes sex is an even exchange for something that's financial. And you should stop trying to play both sides. Stop expecting traditionalism from women, and then when it comes to you and what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to bring to the relationship, that's when you want independence and modernization and all this stuff. That's absolutely ridiculous. And if you have a problem with a woman deciding the price that she wants to set for you to have access to her, then you should not be dealing with that woman. You should date women that you can afford. If you cannot afford to pay women's bills, then you don't need to be dating her. You don't need to have access to her. I've also realized is you have like a lot of guys, well, I'll say this, you have like a whole kind of this movement as of recently on social media that a lot of young women are really into, and it's called Hypergamy. And it's so crazy because ever since I was like, I don't know, like maybe 25, I mean, like earlier than that, maybe like 22, I've always been taught to date up. Don't mess with someone if they can't do anything for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a woman picking a man based off of his financial security. Like, I don't understand why that's such a negative thing. And I think it's just more so about when black women do it, because when white women do, when Asian women do it, when Latina women do it, it seems like, oh, or should I say, white-looking Latina women do it, because you have a lot of Afro-Latinas that look black, and they would be then discounted from this. So when other races of women partake in hypergamy, which is something they've been doing for years, before this was like a sort of a social media discussion, this is something that women have been doing forever. And I don't understand why when a black woman does it, she's automatically deemed as all these negative things and labeled all these negative things. And it's crazy. You as a woman should absolutely date someone that can do more for you financially. If that's the most important thing to you, okay. If it's not, okay. But don't let any men shame you or make you feel crazy because you're taking those things into account. So those are pretty much my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. A little bit of a glow on